Yo, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Day one of Champs has concluded. We have our winners and we have our losers. PaperX managed to advance against GIANTX Gaming in I'd say it was a pretty competitive game. It was very fun. I'd recommend everyone go and watch it if they haven't already. And we got GIANTX versus Sentinels, and GIANTX did win this game. I was personally surprised. I had Sentinels kind of taken the victory against GIANTX due to a lot of factors. When I predicted them at the time, we weren't sure if Ara was going to be in stable condition to play on stage. Luckily, he's fine and healthy from what I can see. But, I mean, this is a really big upset for Sentinels, I think. I think one of the big narrative and speaking points going into this event was how good are North American teams and how good are Sentinels. I think it's fair to say that Americas is probably the weakest region, or one of the weakest region. It's very top heavy, and it's kind of hard to judge the teams. It's the same with China. When you look at a lot of these Chinese teams, you can't really get an understanding of how good they actually are. Is this team really good, or are the team that they are playing against really bad? And it's kind of the same with SEN. If we look at Sentinels, a lot of their games are just playing against really poor teams. Their opening match for Stage 2 was against G2, with Baby Bay playing his first kind of first regional game in a long time. They 2-0 Furia, they 2-0 C9, which is a pretty good achievement. 2-0 EG. EG weren't looking great. 2G, C9 again. So it's like, when they have faced against kind of the upper echelon teams, they've kind of been destroyed. So I think this is a big disappointment for SEN. I think when I compare each of the players one for one, I don't understand where Giants have the advantage. I think Bang, he has proved many times that he's a great controller player. Zekken, Zelsis, Narrate, John QT, they're all incredible players, both fragging experience, game sense wise. And on GIANTX, you've got a lot of rookies: Ara, Flickless, Westside. I'm pretty sure Grabinho as well. And if they aren't rookies, then they haven't had the best tournament experience from what they've had before. So yeah, I'd say this is a real big disappointment for SEN. They started out strong though. They 13-6 GIANTX on Corrode. We will kind of break down Corrode shortly. When it came to Sunset, the Sentinels got absolutely demolished. GIANTX looked scary on Sunset. Some of the ideas and set plays and kind of defensive ideas that they have are really strong. But I think one of the big highlighting points for me is Zekken. Sentinels are running a fade on Sunset, which is a questionable decision for me, because granted it works, but it's that good old-fashioned question of how are you going to deal with the Cypher trips? The Prowler, whilst it might kind of support the team in having an idea of where the trips are, it doesn't break them. So I think Zekken really struggled on T-side, getting a lot of space and kind of getting around the Cypher utility. Granted though, GIANTX played phenomenal. When it came to Haven, it was a completely different story. I felt like Sentinels were going to clearly win this game. They won the pistol, they won the bonus, they demolished GIANTX. They went up 6-0. GIANTX started to get a bit of momentum back into their kind of groove, bringing it to like, what, an 8-4 half. GIANTX then just took it and demolished them. And I still feel like Sentinels might have a tilting problem, mainly due to Narrate, but yeah, it's confusing, you know? Like, I don't see in any world how SEN can lose this game, but I don't know. I don't know what you do with this team. I mean, they're playing against GIANTX Gaming next, and I don't even feel confident about that, because GIANTX surprised me. But anyway, enough of the yap. Let's talk about Corrode, and let's kind of point out the good, the bad, and the ugly, you know? Okay, so it is round number 3. GIANTX were able to secure the pistol coming into map 1, and this is going to be a bonus for GIANTX, and for Sentinels, this is their full buy. Just quickly look at how many Phantoms Sentinels are buying. They are definitely a Phantom abusing team, and I think it's even better on Corrode. with the double smokes, with the kind of mid pressure that you can apply. It feels like they are definitely on top of the meta game for Phantom. I do feel like when it comes to LAN and on stage, the Phantom is by far the best gun that you can use. Just for spamming through smokes, no bullet traces, spamming through walls, just kind of not having to have so much pressure on hitting that first bullet accuracy as well. But what I want to highlight during this round, granted it is GIANTX's bonus, but I want to talk about how fast SEN actually take mid control, okay? They are by far, or let me rephrase this. You can tell from watching this game as well as other like regional matches, America's is very, very strong on Corrode. I don't think there's any avoiding that. They definitely have good map theory when it comes to Corrode, in my opinion. They're very focused on middle. They've got really nice kind of split ideas and stuff like that. And it's no different here. If we look at the round, look at how quickly they take mid control. Near enough in the first 5 seconds, we've got a neon wall to kind of split up the mid kind of A-link lines for him into TP, fade reveal, visors back up, wall up. It's a really nice strat, and we've not even kind of fully completed it yet. Fade parallel to allow Zekken to scale up, and this is where kind of GIANTX become a little bit worried, let's say. You know, they're going to call Ara over to TP because in their mind, this is a fast A split. You know, they're going fast, and it's really nice. You know, we've got the Viper one-way here to kind of block off any elbow pressure. I do feel like if you're going to play against a Chinese, Pacific, maybe even another team that isn't on their bonus, you're going to have a player that's going to want to spam this. It's a really tight choke, but it is a gamble. And this is where SEN kind of just cut noise. You know, they've caused the question marks. We've lost all of mid control near enough other than this little pocket. We've lost A main. We have no info. And we're gamble stacking the sites near enough. Now, this is really nice by SEN. From cutting noise, they kind of allow to see what GIANTX want to do. Bang here is fully aware of Flickless, absolutely shuts him down, and this is where the rotations come in. In GIANTX's heads, they think that, okay, there is someone over towards B main, and this is a great opportunity for them to split on them. Let me move my cam down there just so you can see. This is where Ara's kind of posted up on the angle. He's kind of just isolated, alone by himself. He does have the TP up, but as we can see shortly, he's just shut down by Bang again. And this is really nice. It's a great start to the half for Sentinels, kind of securing your buy round. They do the OP plant. This plant is completely broken. Once the bomb goes down, it's very, very hard to retake this site. It's kind of impossible to lose. The way that you kind of retake this site, in my opinion, is you've got to have heavy bodies, kind of flanking, probably through A-link, but more towards behind, because it's just impossible. You have to pinch these these attackers, and the only way that you really do that is through these kind of main extremities and link. So as we can see, the bomb goes down, smoke, Zekken posted up on the line just to watch for any elbow pressure, but I hate to kind of spoil, but this is donezo. Like, there's not much that GIANTX can do here. They've got weaker weaponry. This is your bonus after all. You're just trying to do damage, but Zekken is kind of just keeping them locked in. Stun to delay, paranoia to delay, and like, what do you do? It's such a tight choke for you to kind of go through, and you do have weaker weaponry. So that is round 3. We'll quickly move on to round number 4. Okay, we are on round number 4, literally the next round, and we've got near enough the same setup. Vice is starting over towards B this round, but this is really nice. This is where we see GIANTX kind of trap play Sentinels mid-aggression. So we've got Grabinio holding his paranoia, Cloud is going to come up and follow, and we're going to do the same A take, but the flash is going to be huge. Completely negates the fact that Sentinels want to take this. Ara's posted up middle as well to allow some mid-aggression, and as we can see shortly, Flickless is going to get the kill onto Zelsis as well, so the round has just completely crumbled. This is where we kind of see GIANTX completely adapt to Sentinel's way of playing. Ara just has the balls of steel. Usually, when you're playing against a Yoru, you're going to imagine that he's going to get one, TP out, and you can maybe reclaim the space. But Ara just doesn't care. He has no fear whatsoever and just maximum confidence. Whilst all this is going on, Westside's managed to take all of A main, and Sentinels are just completely pinched. You think the round's close, but Ara just cleans it up so nicely. And like, same again, John just doesn't expect Ara to be in this pause, because why would he? He got his and he got out, but he's staying in that pause, claiming the space as his, making it really nice for defense. And Zekken can't do much. I mean, yeah. Unlucky. But yeah, let's look at another round. Okay, it is literally the next round. We're going back to back to back. This time, what does Sentinels want to do? What is their idea coming into this next round? How do they want to approach it? They got heavily shut down mid last round. How do they want to kind of adapt? And they basically run the exact same strat of mid control, but this time we have Zekken going upper mid, which is really nice. From the last kind of round's information, you have an idea that Ara could be around this area, and Zekken and Bang decide to take the fight together and completely shut Ara down. It's a complete mimic of that second round, or third round, sorry, where they kind of copy and paste the strat of, right, okay, we're going to pretend to do our A-link take, but actually, we're just going to go and take top mid instead. And it's really nice. Grabinio's kind of just holding here with Cloud and Westside, and I'm going to make a video shortly, probably in the next couple weeks, talking about Vise, because I genuinely think Vise is kind of dumb. The wall that the wall impact that she gets is completely like broken. I don't think there's any other piece of utility when talking about walls that have an infinite lifespan. You think of the Deadlock wall, it eventually dies. You think of the Sage wall, it eventually dies. The Vise wall does not die. It does not have a timer. The only way that you can kill the Vise wall is if you bait it with a Yoru clone or a body. And I think it's just too... If I'm a coach, if I'm an IGL, if I know we're playing against a Vise team, you have to swap the duelist to a Yoru. I'm pretty convinced, because it's so hard to bait the wall on T side without kind of having a default around it. And even then, the default can be trapped, and then you've kind of got to fake a default to the opposite map. And it's very high level gameplay to bait the Vise wall. And I do think that the fact that they were able to play in Neon here and still get away by exposing GIANTX's mid hold actually speaks a lot of volume to how strong Sentinels are on Corrode. But this is a bit of a disaster class, okay? Because GIANTX, and I think this is where we see maybe the lack of experience from the team, they decide to go for a Vise mid reclear, okay? A Vise ult mid reclear, and it just doesn't work because you're just not in the right position and you don't have the people in the right spaces. Like, realistically, you want Flickless to be around top mid so he can allow the team to fight off of the Vise ult, but you're all just flooding from A-Link, and it doesn't work. It's a perfect crossfire from Sentinels. In order for you to fight the top mid player, you have to jump up on the box or just take a further step forward, but regardless, Zekken's going to have the first kind of bullet, and even after that, the mid players are just going to fight through the smoke. The Vise flash is beautiful from Zelsis, and just like that, the round crumbles. I think one of the big narratives of these international events is the idea of stage nerves and experience. And I think people have kind of underestimated it because it does take into an account, because no way the GIANTX think this is a good play. In the moment, they probably do, because it's like, oh my God, we can reclear middle. It's an idea that you kind of just wing in a scrim. I think in a big international stage like Champions, playing against Sentinels, I just don't think this works. I'm sorry. I just don't think it does. And just like that, the round's over. They get the OP plant again. Flickless is on the other side of the map, and there isn't much that you can do. So, yeah. Okay, this is the last round from Sentinels we're going to look at. And same again, we're not going to go for a mid take. We're just going to take everywhere. Now, what do I mean by that? We're going to start off towards A main, all 5. We have near enough no map control, which is pretty dangerous. we kind of take a little bit of A main, show our hand, show our cards, and then what do we decide to do? We then decide to go and take middle, which is really nice. And I think if I'm playing against Sentinels and, you know, we're kind of wanting to draft against Corrode, I think they are relatively easy to anti because they don't really take the main extremities that well against the Vise. Their counter to the Vise and the whole map in general is just forcing middle. And I do feel like there are going to be some teams that you can kind of expose Sentinel's mid takes against, especially after watching this VOD. For example, Ara does a pretty nice job. There's an op. You could have a Razor Vine to kind of, you know, delay a little bit further. But even then, if I'm watching this VOD, I'm thinking, there's nobody over towards B main, and 9 out of 10 times, the Vise is playing with Viper or just playing late towards middle. He's not really going for these around the world kind of lurks, which I would maybe like to see SEN do in the future. But regardless of that, let's let the round continue. We do the Prowler, we take a Link, and then we decide to go up towards top middle. And just think about how claustrophobic this must be for GIANTX. You have lost everywhere. You have a major question mark over towards A main. You have a major question mark towards A Link now. If you're GIANTX, you're thinking they're going to A split. They're going to A split. But no, they decide to further take up towards top mid, and this Prowler just doesn't connect onto West Side, and West Side has the most beautiful trigger discipline you could ever have. And he doesn't just get 2, he then gets the 3 onto Bang, and this is the round crumbled. But I think when this is a small mistake that is actually a pretty big mistake when you look at the round and how it's kind of ended up being, but just from this, you can kind of tell that Sentinels are comfortable going anywhere and everywhere on the map. And that's a good sign. But regardless of that, I do want to kind of talk about GIANTX, because GIANTX did lose this map, and some of the big flaws that I think they have on their attack setups. Okay, we are into the next half. The half was 6-6, which is a really good half of Sentinels. This map, I would say, and like most people would say, is heavily CT-sided, but somehow Sentinels just have a really strong attack. And one of the big flaws of GIANTX's T-side, in my opinion, is this whole A wall. I despise it. I think it's kind of silly. You lose so much value from the mid wall of constant pressure that it kind of sabotages your whole attack, and it doesn't really do much for you. I can understand the thought process behind it, but I think the mid wall is just 10 times better. It's kind of, you're kind of inting if you don't use that wall middle, unless it's like an eco round and you're trying to go for a fast A split or something, and with stingers or something along those lines. And as we'll kind of show, I'll show this round and I'll show the next, because look how comfortable that Sentinels are just taking middle. You know, GIANTX don't decide to smoke middle or apply any kind of mid pressure whatsoever. So realistically, if there's a player just holding this mid line, you're completely fine. You're going, well, middle's fine. Like, you can stack over towards the opposite sites. And as we can see, Sentinels have a Vise, so you could probably play, I don't know, 3-1-1 or something along those lines. And I just think this is a massive flaw in the T-side setup. And it's not just this round that they do this wall. It's almost every single round on attack. And as we can see, look, they're just avoiding middle. And I'm not sure about EMEA's Corrode. Like, I'd need to go back and watch a lot of the games, but I do feel like it's mainly NA and maybe Pacific that love fighting middle, love taking it, love fighting it, and I almost feel like EMEA, I could be wrong on this, I feel like EMEA don't like to fight middle that much. It's too risky for them. I don't feel like EMEA like to play that scrappy Valorant, whereas we can see that NA are completely fine with it. This is also pretty poor of a wall, in my opinion. Like, you've probably seen your Clove do these smokes in ranked, and don't get me wrong, it's a great lurk wall, but it just doesn't work for me. And just like that, John kind of shuts the round down and allows Sentinels to take the pistol, and it's a really great round. You know, all credit to SEN. Their Corrode is really strong. But I feel like GIANTX's approach and maybe game plan into this attack just wasn't great. But let's look at another round. Okay, so this is the last round we'll look at. And as we can see, GIANTX are still going to go for this kind of A lurk wall and whatnot. But look how quickly SEN just take middle. They just go, right, the wall's over towards A. Well, let's just lock down middle. Let's get a person inserted over towards here. And that basically allows us a great advantage into the round. Credit to GIANTX though, this is really nice. This is, I'm not sure if it's the IGL who's just got really good kind of game sensing cloud, or if this is like a specific protocol that the team have from Pips and the head coach. But we're just defaulting the Vise wall. Look at that. Within the first 15 seconds, we've got rid of the Vise wall. Vise now has no real Sentinel info util, I guess you could say. You know, yeah, you've got the flash and whatnot, but it's just not great. Compared to the wall, it's nothing. So we've defaulted over towards A main. The wall has been baited. Razor Vines and Flash are still online, but this is fine because it forces Zelsis and Bang to now hold over towards A main, which is really nice. It's really clean. We have a pretty good Razor Vine setup, but as we can see, this is now a massive question mark. Neon has all of middle, and he's doubled up with Bang, which is great. And as we can see, GIANTX are looking to group over towards B main. And this is what I mean, is the whole T side just is approached really poorly. I feel like if you wanted to do this lurk wall, don't do the wall, do a bubble. Just use the Viper Orb for here, and you can get the same amount of value. The only difference is yeah, you won't have CT, and you won't have this kind of wall for if you get the plant down. But, like, you can't be picky. I just feel like this wall is so much better used over towards middle, because look, they are double facing middle and they can have fast rotates over towards B and A. It doesn't work. You're basically playing this like ranked. You're 5-man hitting a site, and I don't think you can play Corrode like that. You have to split. You have to cause question marks. And right now, GIANTX only have one question mark on the map, and that is A main. It's not good enough. They go over in towards the Viper setup, so this is already going to cause a bit of delay and damage. Ara gets the TP in, Neon throws a stun to delay, double TP in, and GIANTX have access to the site, which is fine, but let's just see how they approach this post plan. And bear in mind, Sentinels have a really, really weak bonus. It's not necessarily weak because the Stinger's busted, and it's America, but hey-ho. GIANTX, they kind of post up in the optimal post-plant positions, and Sentinels are just, they've re-cleared elbow. We are all standing on site. This is not a great post-plant, okay? If we know anything about Corrode, you have to realistically take elbow. This is one of the most important parts of the post-plant, and as we can see, the round, I'm pretty sure, is just going to crumble. Zeken's going to do a beautiful kind of entry, throwing his body onto the line, allows Sentinels to get in the trades. Absolute flood of a retake, and now Cloud is in a 1 versus 3, and he's screwed. Like, this round was just, it shows that Giants just aren't comfortable on this map. If I am PaperX, I would be open to playing Giants on this map, because from an IGL perspective, coach kind of game plan, ideas, it just doesn't work. It's just not a great display of Champions level gameplay, in my opinion, just due to the slight little, like, we're using all our Viper util towards A, and it's so much util. You can use other pieces of util, like the mid wall and a Viper Orb for here, to isolate the elbow fight, and it would be, in my opinion, a much more effective and optimal setup for attack, because you're getting so much more value from the kit. But yeah, who knows? Anyway, that's going to be it for that video. Somehow we've reached 24 minutes. I just want to let you guys know, if you ever wanted me to do a full map analysis, or even just a full best of 3 analysis, it is probably going to be over an hour and a half long. I'm not even kidding. It's probably going to take longer to watch my video than it is the best of 3. So I'm trying for this shorter form content, but I'm also trying not to starve you guys of information of my thoughts and feelings. But anyway, let me know if you enjoyed this video. I won't be doing a video on tomorrow or Sunday's games, because I will be at the venue cheering on DRX and T1. So yeah, like the video if you enjoyed it and you thought it was helpful or informative. If you didn't, let me know why. Give me your thoughts and feelings, and I shall see you guys in the next video.